I wanted to talk about this person. I've been watching this person since a while ago. I haven't talked about them in ages. What I'm interested in with this person did a speech at one of the trans protests. It kind of seems like they're letting literally fucking anyone do a speech at these things, irrespective of what kind of person they are. What we're seeing here, first of all, this girl is like fucking 13 or something on the left. On the right, I've put a thing up because literally this guy is showing her, they're trying to show them graphic like slaughterhouse footage, completely contravening the parents' like right to teach their kids about where food comes from in their own time. They used to go on ome.tv or Omegle or whatever the fuck, chat roulette, whatever it's called these days, and like preach like vegan activism and trans activism towards like kids.
I like scrambled eggs. Are you okay with this happening to baby chicks?
Literally showing this what looks like a 13-year-old, this like graphic slaughterhouse footage. They'll send these like videos to like little kids that they speak to on Omegle. I don't know if they still do this. They certainly were doing this.
If I wanted to go downstairs right now and make myself fucking bacon sandwich, if I wanted to make myself a whole fucking chicken, I could, and I would if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
Yep.
So you can't change my fucking mind about that.
Why not?
You know how I'm talking because you can't.
Why not? You don't want to. If you don't want to rape children, that's totally fine. But I'm gonna rape children. So me and you, different people, right? If you don't want to rape children, that's totally fine.
All right. Do you get the point? This person uses like raping children analogies to talk to children about like vegan activism and like trans activism. Now, me personally, I don't know if I think it's appropriate for this kind of person to be standing up at like trans rights protests and speaking to people. You know what I mean? Like, it gives me the same energy as that fucking Sarah Jane Baker. And there's another example of what I mean. And bear in mind, this person's like a convicted felon.
Trans Prisoner Alliance! There's over 1,000 transgender prisoners, and we're counting on you out here, right? Listen, there are some really bad transgender prisons. There are. I'm not going to lie to you. But there's about 980 of us who are just trying to live our lives behind bars, without testicles, in
Yeah, and loads of you are sexual assaulters.
male prisons against our will. Well, I was going to come here and be really fluffy and be really nice and say, yeah, be really lovely and queer and gay. No, if you see a turf, punch him in the face.
But there we go. There seems to be a history at these like trans rights protests, trans rights events, trans pride events, of just letting anyone, irrespective of their background, just get up and say all kinds of crazy shit, even including telling people to punch women in the face, which is crazy. Well, I'm very concerned about the whole thing where we get like connected to like pedophilia so often. Like this person will openly use like child rape as an argument when arguing with children on the internet. And it's fine for them to get up at these protests and like speak. Why the fuck would you want someone like this speaking? Anyway, let's hear what they have to say.
The most meaningful thing I did as a woman
You're not a woman.
had nothing to do with animal rights. About 2.5 years ago, I went to a vigil just a little bit down the road for a young girl who was stabbed to death in Manchester. And when I went to that, I was a 1-month-old trans baby. I knew nothing about activism. I knew nothing about protests. I knew nothing about vigils. I knew nothing about being trans. I knew fuck all. But I went there and I saw a bunch of, very, very assertive trans people. They weren't trying to pass. They weren't trying to conform. They were just existing very, very, very loudly. And I realized that it doesn't matter how much I pass. There is a small chance, no matter how pretty I am, no matter how much I pass, no matter how much I blend in, that I might get stabbed to death in a park. So I decided to not fucking pass. I decided to be really loud and really visible and just assert myself on the world wherever.
That isn't an argument that if you try and assimilate, that you're probably still going to get murdered anyway. That isn't very likely. Statistically, it's not like white passing transsexuals who are the ones getting murdered. When we talk about like this increased risk of violence to trans people, a decent amount of that is like trans women of color who are prostitutes, who like work as sex workers. So basically this person, because they saw a more conventional looking trans woman that got murdered, that's completely changed their worldview and they're going to be a radical now. I think that's nuts, personally. I think it's setting a terrible example. How many young, impressionable people are watching right now who are already getting their heads filled with shit?
I went. But I never really found it into trans. myself into trans activism. About 2-3 weeks later, I went and I did animal rights activism.
Like all this like loud, I decide to be loud and not passing and stuff. Like, you want, people cheer that kind of shit. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. What is the point?
Centre of Leeds, and I was like, fuck, I can talk to people every single weekend on the street about things that I care about. This is amazing. And then I did it every single weekend. I've probably talked to tens of thousands of people.
Yes, including children, about child rape.
Looking like this. I've been naked in the street multiple times. I was tortured in a cage last weekend. I have hung banners over motorways. I've raided AGMs. I've done lots of things. And I think they've been meaningful. And, you know, I did it all as a trans woman, thinking if I do all this stuff dressed like this, I'll make trans lives better. And I think...
Will you? Anyone that watches your channel for any length of time, the shit you say. Like, listen, I've got like 3 videos about this person just watching their weird fucking streams on Ome TV. That thing that I showed you at the start, that's just one conversation. There were lots of them, of this person proselytizing to kids about like veganism and trans rights and stuff. Being willing to send like graphic fucking videos to children, you know what I mean? And we want these people speaking at our protests. This is why these fucking protests don't speak for me.
I think I did, but only within a very, very small section.
Seriously think the majority of individuals like this is pure grift only. I mean, I can buy that this person is very like easily radicalized and very impressionable for sure. I don't know. I wonder if they're the kind of person, and to an extent you could say it's about me too. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead. I think they're the kind of person, they can't find anything else to do. They can't find any way of fitting in. They're not particularly good at anything. Okay, I'll just transition and become angry about that because someone got murdered. Or like, I'm sorry, man. Nothing radical about him. The 1970s were full of guys that look like him. Yeah, Jesus.
Of society, only within the animal rights movement. And it did succeed. Like, I'm now invited to speak at conferences looking like this. I've had conversations with international organizations.
You can do all kinds of things whilst looking fucking ridiculous. Wow, mate, well done.
About how they treat trans people within the animal rights movement, and loads of smaller ones as well. But yesterday, oh, not yesterday, whenever it was, time's hard at the minute. Whenever it was, the other day,
I don't understand time. Let me tell you about the fucking animal rights fucking shit. Like, okay, bro, okay.
I realised that that's not really enough. Me existing like this visibly and talking about other things isn't protecting trans people and isn't promoting our rights. In the last 2.5 years, I've done all these things for animals, but I've only been to about 4 or 5 protests for trans people.
What's the purpose of him dressing like this? So he can talk about how he looks fucking ugly and he still does things, because that's an achievement, apparently.
And that's just not enough. So I've come here today to say, look, I know how to protest. I'm fucking great at it, right? But I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? I don't know who I'm
Yeah, none of you know what the fuck you're supposed to do.
supposed to make do what they're supposed to do. So I've invited a bunch of people who I think do know what we're supposed to do. And I'd like to invite them to help me build a movement where we can actively and consistently campaign for our rights.
Yeah, these kind of fucking people, they are not going to help trans rights. They're going to continue pushing them down because everyone is sick of this shit. Everyone is sick of how over-radicalized a lot of trans people seem to be. Everyone's sick of these visible trans people constantly talking about their own existence, constantly obsessing over themselves, obsessing over how they look, as if anyone gives the slightest fuck what they look like. These trans protests do not represent increasing amounts of like trans people. They don't appeal to most people. It's just ridiculous. He seems autistic. He has to. His ideas, he thinks, is justice. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, he does loads of like community posts all the time on YouTube. Like, it's bizarre. I guess these people end up getting propped up by these rights organizations because they're willing to make twats out of themselves, willing to go on Ome TV and talk to kids about how he wants to rape them.
Because in Leeds we have loads of support groups and they're fucking amazing. But support groups will only keep us alive and will only keep us safe. Whilst there are billionaires and millionaires campaigning for our existence and our rights to be destroyed,
Like who? What are you talking about?
We need more than to be alive. We need more than to survive.
The other thing is, it's so fucking easy to talk to a crowd like this. You learn the basic fucking bullshit talking points. Anyone can do this. It's so easy.
We need to combine our allies. We need to get them in a single organized group, and we need to push for what...
Single organized group. Like, really think about this for a fucking second. All the fucking infighting that's constantly going on about every tiny thing in leftist groups, in trans groups, presumably in like fucking radical spaces. Fucking good luck, man. Good luck getting a bunch of people to pull in the same direction. Like, it's wild to me. This is just cooked. It's completely fake. It's bullshit. But you can be a complete fucking creep. You can go around talking to kids about child rape, sending graphic footage to children, and you're fine to like speak in front of people at a fucking protest. This kind of shit is exactly why trans rights doesn't fucking speak for me.
We believe it. Because they keep saying there's
Like, legally this person's male now. Oh wow. Imagine that this person is a male. Like, really, bro?
Because they keep telling us there's a trans agenda, but I've not seen it. And frankly, we fucking need one.
Yeah, you just all believe exactly the same shit. You know what I mean?
Right? So let's stop getting accused of having a trans agenda, and let's fucking build one.
Let's do the thing that they keep saying we're doing. Let's actually be as bad as they're saying. Great job, bro.